In this week's episode of the Strangeplay news discussion, we talk about more bugs in the Fallout 76 beta, the Medieval remake coming to PlayStation 4, and the complete lineup of Sony's PlayStation Classic. Hello and welcome to the Strangeplay news discussion. I'm Rik.
I'm Simon.
And I fucked this intro up, but this is the news discussion for Sunday the 4th of November. But it's not going to go out on the 4th because I'm going out tonight to a party. It's Halloween. So Monday the 5th is when we're going to put it out. This is a very special edition of the news discussion show, which got renamed last week from the news recap because it's not really a recap, is it? It's just there's two slagging off the news for a while.
Yep, pretty much.
So it's basically the 1 year anniversary of these weekly news shows, and it's the first show that Simon and I are doing live together in the same room.
Yeah, for sure. This is the first time that we have actually met as well.
It is.
So, yeah, for us, I guess.
11 years of friendship, and he's only just made the effort to come south of the border.
I have to get my passport. It takes a long time.
It does, from Yorkshire folk. Anyway, let's get straight on with the news. And we're going to start off with something a little in keeping with the Halloween theme, and that is Sony have recently just released the trailer for the Medieval remake. It's being built by developer Other Ocean, and the official blurb reads, Medieval follows the story of Sir Daniel Fortescue, an unlikely champion who met an unfortunate end on the field of battle. He receives a chance at redemption when his nemesis, the evil sorcerer Lord Zarok, accidentally resurrects him 100 years after that fateful day. Lord Zarok seeks to conquer the kingdom of Gallowmere, and only the skeletal Sir Dan stands between Zarok's army and the undead and the kingdom he swore to protect. Writing on the PlayStation blog, PlayStation chief Sean Layden described it as a full remake of the original game as opposed to a remaster, so it's kind of more in keeping with the Crash Bandicoot and Spyro the Dragon stuff. What did you think to this trailer?
My initial thing was, wow, this looks just how I remember it. And then it sort of did the thing where it flashes back to the original. It's like, holy fuck, what the balls is that fucking shit? I was like, it can't have looked as bad as that. But sure enough, yeah, it did look as bad as that. So I think I'm actually putting the effort in and giving it a graphical overall. And I don't think it's just a graphical overall. It's like they say, it's built from the ground up. Is really fucking nice. Genuinely, this is what they should be doing for games when they're bringing them back from the 90s. But, and I think this is your but as well, it's just one game.
Yeah.
And this one game is 4-5 hours long.
You can bash out the first Medieval 100% in 4 hours.
It's
easy.
not a long game, is it?
No.
So, I don't know if that's going to affect it in sales-wise or people's memories of it, because sometimes you sort of, when you go back and you play something, it's like, oh, this isn't what I was expecting.
Yeah.
A bit like some people were disappointed with Crash when that came out. I think when some people play Spyro that comes out later this year, it's going to be like, oh, this isn't as good as I remember it. It looks the part, but it's not actually how I felt when I first played it. It don't reignite that spark. There's something being lost.
I like to see what you did there. Reignite.
That's what it's called, yeah, in Spyro. But yeah, I think that's the thing for me. When you take a trip down nostalgia lane with these things, I think it'd have been nice if they'd have just bundled them all up and remade them as a package, and then gone, okay, so Daniel Fortescue's getting a new game, and it's all up to date. It's it's going to have all the features that you expect of a game that's being made currently. And it's going to be of a certain length as well. It's not going to be an in and out job because, like we said, it's not a long game. It's no. 1 or 2 nights.
Now, because it's being remade from the ground up instead of remastered, there is a chance that there could be new levels, there could be extending levels, and taking it from a 4-hour game into a 12-hour game or something. That'd be a bit more meaty, I think.
Substantial.
Yeah, but even if they release it one game for 30 quid and keep it as is, that's still a lot of money for 4 hours. So I'm going to keep my eye on it because I do want it. I loved Medieval 2.
Me too.
I wanted them both. So I'm hoping that because it's coming out next year at some point, they are going to turn around and go, oh, by the way, surprise, we're packaging up the second one. It's 30 quid for 2 of them. Because you can just reuse the same engine on it. It's not going to be a problem.
Well, that's it. The groundwork's already done, innit? They've gone to all that effort. They're not just going to use it for one game and fucking throw it out.
Yeah. So the trailer looks good, but we are apprehensive about the game as a whole. So we'll be sure to cover more as it gets released and probably pick it up if it sounds like it's going to be substantial. So what is next?
This story's from Eurogamer. So Bethesda's extended the Fallout 76 beta after an unfortunate bug was discovered that deleted an entire 50 gigabytes of the game's clients from some users' PCs.
Jesus.
In a fantastically alarming tweet, Bethesda warned fans not to click any buttons on the client for the time being, which made it sound like people's computers were about to explode. Subsequent messages explained there was an issue causing PC owners to re-download the hefty beta game file, and that if you saw a progress bar, you should allow the download to complete again. Bethesda owned up to the problem. To make up for the issue, the publisher has extended the Fallout 76's Thursday beta slot by 4 hours, so it now lasts from 2 PM to 11 PM Eastern. Right, so they've extended it.
By 7 hours.
By 7 hours. For some people, it's going to take them that long to fucking download the 50 gigs. So, what do you think of that?
Not surprising at all, considering that last week we covered the fact that they had to put out a letter going, there's a lot of bugs in this. Granted, absolute game breaker.
Yeah, that's just nuked its own thing, which is ironic given the game's topic.
Yeah, you're doing good with the accidental puns today.
No, this was totally planned. I saw it and I'm like, I'm holding on to that one.
I'm sitting on that. Yeah, that's dumb. The fact that as well that it's just being extended for 7 hours, like when I saw the story initially, I was like, oh wow, there's going to be like an extra day or two for them to go, we're really sorry, we're going to iron out some more bugs, here's an extra 24 hours, here's an extra 48 hours with it, we're ever so sorry that we broke everything that you own. And now they're like, hey, well, you're going to be at work for this, but we've extended it for you.
Oh, you're going to be embedding in Europe's case? Because
yeah,
it's fucking stupid. They should have just said, alright, we'll give it an extra like 5 days or something, you can have at it.
Even an extra day would, because people are going to lose a day downloading it, installing it.
I mean, 50 gigs is fucking, that's a lot. That's a lot of data to be downloading.
The more that I see about this, the more I think this game's just going to turn into a big mess.
It's going to be a fucking absolute car wreck when it comes out.
Yeah.
I've watched more of the beta. Yeah. And it's like, I watch it and I shrug my shoulders. I'm like, what is it about? Like, seriously. It just confuses me. The whole thing confuses me. The whole package. And stuff like this doesn't hold well for the final product as well. I know they said there's going to be a lot of bugs and stuff, but if it's going to start doing shit like that, that reads to me as there's going to be stuff that's going to fucking chew game saves. There's going to be fucking problems with connecting, like netcode and stuff. Like, it's brave of them to do it, to take this step and put Fallout online, but they really should have spent more time building this, because I'm just checking it over as well, because I think stuff like this is unacceptable. Not just the, we've deleted 50 gigs off your hard drive. Here's 7 hours to plug that gap, because they are having a fucking laugh.
Yeah, it's a mess.
At least they were forthright with it.
Yeah.
Owning up. They were just like, we fucked up. They didn't try and paste over it or anything like that, which is, at least they're honest.
Yeah, you got to give them that.
Yeah.
And at least they've warned us last week that it was going to be a hideously broken mess.
I wonder how many more apologies we're going to get from them.
At least 3.
I'll say higher than that.
Yeah?
Well, we'll have a play your cards right thing. Like, is it higher or lower, every week?
Yeah.
So, that's Fallout 76 for you. What's next?
So this next story comes from Sony, and it's a continuation to their announcement of the PlayStation Classic. When it was announced the other month, I think it was, it had 5 games with it, which was a weird number to announce.
I think what they were doing is they were finalising details on what were going to be on there.
Yeah, and judging from the full list, they've had a lot of problems finalising some games that I think they really wanted. So the full rundown is Battle Arena Toshinden, which you called out, Core Borders 2, Destruction Derby, Final Fantasy 7, Grand Theft Auto, Intelligent Cube, or Karashi as it's known over here, Jumping Flash, Metal Gear Solid, Mr. Driller, Oddworld Abe's Odyssey, Rayman, Resident Evil Director's Cut, Revelations Persona, which is a massive surprise, Ridge Racer Type 4, Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo, Syphon Filter, Tekken 3, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six, Twisted Metal, and Wild Arms.
I think the biggest surprise is there, Persona.
Yeah.
For me, because it's like I've only really known Persona be a thing in like maybe the last decade. It was Persona 3, one that blew
Was
up.
10 years ago.
Yeah, it's a long time ago.
Wow. Yeah, that was a long time ago. But even then, it didn't really get big until Persona 4 and the Vita. It wasn't until Persona 4 Golden came out that it really became the super popular thing.
Yeah, but I think, I don't play JRPGs, but I was well aware of Persona 3. It sort of got through, it broke through, and it became, I won't say a big mainstream hit, but it was cult enough that if you were involved in games in any way, you sort of had a knowing of it. Even if you didn't know what it was, you knew it existed.
Yeah.
The other thing that's surprising is stuff like Puzzle Fighter, and it's like, oh, that's an interesting inclusion.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't have gone that myself. I know a lot of people love those games, but it's like, well, there's better games to have. The other thing that I have to take away is stuff like Destruction Derby. Why not Destruction Derby 2? Why not Syphon Filter 2? Why not go for the superior games? You'll really showcase what the PlayStation was capable of.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe because it's the first game in the series, but then Tekken 3's there. And Ridge Racer Type 4 is on there as well, so they've gone for the better one. Cool Borders 2 is the better one. So yeah, it's really bizarre. Mr. Driller.
Mr. Driller is a great game though. That's a fantastic
but
game.
I don't remember it as a PlayStation classic. I would never call it a classic.
I think it were at the back end of the life of a PlayStation 1.
Now, the ones that I'd call classics are probably Rayman, for sure. Resident Evil Director's Cut, which I called on our
With
thing.
its dubious
Sound, yeah.
Hold on. There is serum. Oh no, I should have brought some with me. No problem. I'll go and get it.
Twisted Metal, one that I called. Rainbow Six.
Yeah, that is a weird inclusion. The thing as well, have you seen the Japanese lineup? That's got Parasite Eve and stuff on it.
Yeah.
Which it's like, I would have thought that they'd just done like a flat one, Joe, for worldwide.
They can't. And this is a strange thing. Sony have a lot of distribution issues when it comes to their games, which is why you don't see Parasite Eve on the British PlayStation Store.
Right. Is it because it was published by someone else here or something?
I couldn't tell you. But there's a weird thing about it. There's a game called The Legend of Dragoon, which I've recently just played through, and I had to get that from the American store because you can't get it on the British one because of
It's tied up in
licensing and
legal.
publishing deals. Yeah. So a lot of games are going to be left off, especially in the West, because of things like that. And then there's this whole thing. So we've just spoken about the Medieval remake. It's things like that that are going to have a massive effect on the lineup, because we've had the Crash remakes, we've had the Spyro one coming out, Medieval, Resident Evil 2 remake. Then we've just had Castlevania Requiem, which has got Symphony of the Night on it. They're not going to put those games, or the variation of those games, on this thing, because it could potentially hurt sales of the game that they've just put millions of dollars into making.
Yeah.
So they're going to affect it massively. Then you've got games like Gran Turismo, Tony Hawk.
Yeah, we went over this, didn't we? We're just like, they're just tied up
Wipeout,
with
massive
soundtracks and stuff.
Soundtracks. What it was, because I was wrong about that, about Orbital doing the soundtrack for it. There is a universal soundtrack for it.
Right.
But in the UK, Orbital did some and licensed some tracks. And even that was an issue for America, because a lot of the UK-based tracks that were put in the game weren't licensed in America. So the soundtrack had to be redone for the American market. And then it's like, well, which version comes out now? Are they going to have to try and relicense the American one? Are they going to have to use the inferior sound
and not only
for
that,
it?
the risk pissing off the people that were like, oh, I love racing to this music, and then they get it and it's like, what the fuck? It reminds me of semi-recently Grand Theft Auto 4. It had its 10th anniversary.
Yeah.
Stripped a load of fucking music out of it. They did it with Vice City as well on PC. They took a lot like Michael Jackson, all the iconic stuff. They just couldn't get renewals. They couldn't afford it, so it just like, yeah, it just fucking went. This is a gauntlet that games have to run now, because we sort of expect licensed music. We sort of expect all these things to be in the games and to license stuff like that. They're only going to do it. They're going to do it on the bare minimum licensing terms that they can get away with, because they have no idea if the game's going to be big. Well, especially with Grand Theft Auto, they can fucking do that because those games are sort of... They make so much money that you think they just fucking do it for like 50 years or something just to cover themselves. But the racing games, Wipeout, and what else had license tracks? Gran Turismo had license tracks as well. It had
Tony Hawk.
Tony Hawk's had a lot of like American bands on it.
And then when you look at it from a licensing point of view, if you're doing a game, just like a single disc game, and you're licensing, and if part of that deal is that the artists get a percentage of what you do, that's cool if it's your game. But as soon as you get multiple games on one system that costs £90, that money's going to start being spread out everywhere, and it just becomes unfeasible, really. It doesn't make sense to do it, so they're just going to leave them off.
You mentioned that some games weren't going to get on there, like Crash Bandicoot and Spyro and stuff like that. I want to know if this is going to work the other way around. Are games that appear on this collection going to suddenly get a sudden desire, for being remade or remastered or brought back in somewhere, like Syphon Filter? Like, I'd love to see a Syphon Filter, like a modern day Syphon Filter in the same vein as like Metal Gear Solid 5.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah, like that sort of stuff would totally tick all my boxes. I don't want to see remakes as such, because those games are very much of the time for me. This is why I'm not interested in playing a PlayStation 1 classic, because I think you should leave the past in the past. It's alright to look and study it, but for me it's personally hard to go back. It's not like films or music where you can dip in and dip out, because standards are constantly evolving with the mechanics that we engage with. But for them to go, okay, right, we're bringing Gabe Logan back, or we're bringing, this, like the idea of the Syphon Filter back, it'd really do it for me. I think the other thing that we were spot on with as well was Metal Gear Solid, when we said Konami will throw that in.
Yeah.
Because they'll be wanting the money. They're set on the rights, and that's it. They're gonna fucking, put it in everything. I mean, they're already abusing those franchises that they own. So, I mean, I don't... It's a great game. Like, I think it's an important landmark in gaming. It'd be interesting to see if Kojima gets out of that, because he's credited, but I don't know if he's...
Probably not, though, because if he was sort of let go, then he doesn't own Metal Gear. If he owned it, he'd be able to take it with him, but he doesn't own it.
I think that's it for this roundup.
Yeah, before we go, though, we should probably do the free games for this month with PlayStation Plus and Xbox Gold. So, games with gold for November 2018 is Battlefield 1 and Race the Sun, both on Xbox One, and then Assassin's Creed and Dante's Inferno.
On PlayStation, it is Bulletstorm, Full Clip Edition, and Yakuza Kiwami.
Yep. And on PS3, Jackbox Party Pack 2, Arcado Series, and on PS Vita, Burning Men at Sea and Roundabout. I've not heard of those games.
No, and I don't think anyone's going to bother with those. I think Battlefield 1 and Kiwami are probably the pick of this month.
Yeah, definitely. If you haven't played a Yakuza game, I highly recommend
it's going to be my jumping on point
Yakuza Kiwami.
For those games.
It's a good jumping on point as well, because it's a remake of the PlayStation 2 original. So you'll be basically jumping on from the beginning. And
Bulletstorm Full Clip is alright. A lot of people like it, but I've
got no interest in that game.
No, I played it and I was like, nah, this ain't for me. But
I'd rather play Doom, to be honest.
I think that's it for this episode. We've been going for a year. If you've been with us for that time, for these weekly shows, I appreciate you very, very much. And Rick appreciates you very, very much. Every view that we get is like, I'm genuinely touched that even though we don't get a lot of views, it's just genuinely touching to people go, yeah, I watched your video and yeah, like, I agreed with you on this, or I didn't agree with you on that, and having a bit of a conversation with people. Even though we don't get many comments and stuff like that, it's nice to get feedback and chat with people and do the whole social thing that goes with doing stuff on YouTube. And here's to another year of doing it.
Yeah,
right,
here's to another 12 months of listening to each other's dulcet tones, getting angrier and angrier whenever we talk about Konami.
And loot boxes.
Oh my days. So let's do the proper sign off then. If you'd like to talk to us about any of the stories we mentioned, then please feel free to leave a comment below. Talk to us over at Twitter at Strangeplay UK. I'm deleting the Facebook because it's Facebook and it's a bit shit. You can also join the Discord server, invite link in the description. Also, if you like this video or like what we're doing on the channel, feel free to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with your friends. It helps us grow as a channel. And as Simon just said, we genuinely do appreciate it. We appreciate every single person who takes time out of their incredibly busy schedule to listen to these two idiots for 20 minutes every week. So thank you very much for that, and we will see you next time.
I love you, listener. Mwah.